So far we have learned two hooks, use effect and use state. Now let's take what we have learned so far and build something real. Okay, so in this lecture you're going to learn how to build a Hacker News client. Okay, so let me comment this out. Okay, so let's create our functional component const app. Okay, first we need state. Okay, so let's call it const, let's call it news, and the method we need is set news equals to use state, and by default the news array will be empty. Okay, so this is the default value, and as you can see previously you saw we used a number. Okay, so it can be a string, integer, arrays, object, anything. Okay, so this is the use state here. Now let's write a method that will fetch the news from the Hacker News API. Okay, fetch news. Okay, so const, let's call it fetch news, and I'm going to use this fetch method which comes by default with the browsers. Okay, so fetch, and we're going to fetch this news from http://hackernews.algolia.com/API/v1. Okay, and we want to search based on the query. Let's call it a React. We want to fetch the news about React. Okay, so v1/search what query equals to React. Okay, and later you will learn to also take user input so that we can set different queries, and based on that we will fetch the news as well. Okay, so we will learn about that as well, but for now let's just make a simple request about all the news based on React. Okay, so once we make this request using this fetch, as you can see takes the URL as an argument, then it will return a promise. Okay, then we will handle that. First we will convert that to JSON, then we will handle that. We use the set news method here, and then if there is any error we are going to catch the error. Okay, so here first of all we get the result. We can call it anything we like. Let's call it result, and it will return using this arrow function, as you can see here, result.json. so we convert that to JSON. Then whatever is there, that data, we want to give that to this method, just like we would do a set state in the class components. This time it's going to be set news, right? So set news, and we give the data. Okay, but we're going to give data.hits. Okay, because this is how we're going to get the data. I can even show you by console logging, but for now let's just leave it data.hits. Okay, then if there is an error we're going to console log the error. Okay, so this method is going to fetch the news. Now to get all the news we need to execute this method, right? It's not going to run by itself, we need to run it. So if it was a class component we would run that method inside component date mount, right? But here we're going to use effect. Okay, so use effect, and you already know this takes a function as an argument. Okay, so here this function will run. Previously we run this document title, this method, but this time we're going to run this method. Okay, fetch news. So use effect, this method will run when component mounts and whenever there is a change in the state. Okay, now we should have the news available in the state because we have run this method set news and we passed the data.hits. Okay, so let's return something. Let's use this return method, and let's create a div. Inside div let's create title news. Okay, and we can loop through all the news. Okay, so here news, and we can use this map method that takes a function as an argument. Okay, so when we iterate through the news we can grab each news as well as the index so that we can use as a key for each news. Okay, so when we return we give a key to each news. Okay, so the key that's going to be index. Okay, and we want to show is news. So news dot title. Okay, now we can give this a try. Okay, let's go to the browser, and as you can see, we have got all the news based on React from the Hacker News API. Beautiful, right? Let's give it a refresh. Okay, as you can see, it's beautiful. By the way, if you are curious, you can also console log here. Let me comment this out, and here let me say then data console log data. Okay, just so that we can see it in the console. Okay, let me inspect, go to the console. As you can see, we get this object and we have hits, and each hits contain trending news in an array, as you can see here. Okay, so that's why I used data.hits. Okay, so let me comment out, let me bring them back in, and there is our news client. Okay, beautiful. Now in the next lesson, we can enhance our application a bit. We can add a form here so that users can search a particular topic. Okay, so they will enter whatever they want to search in the search form, and based on that, we will fetch the news from the Hacker News API. Okay, so let's begin implementing the search form in the very next lesson. Thank you.